Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, a new Tom Henderson article. Yes, Tom Henderson, the famous Battlefield leaker, has finally put on another article, and this has some fairly substantial information inside of it, and it kind of confirms what I was speculating about in one of my recent videos, particularly about Battle Royale. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Battlefield 2025 will more than likely have a free-to-play Battle Royale, and I'll go into further detail about some other very interesting details in this article. So, if you enjoy the content, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders, first link in the description. Drop my channel a follow, hope to see some of you guys there. Now, Tom starts this article by essentially just sort of giving you some background on 2042 and how the game launched terribly, and he then names some big head honchos like Vince Zampella, and Byron Bede is the new general manager, and of course he mentions Marcus Leto has departed from Ridgeline Games. If you want to see a full video on Marcus Leto departing Ridgeline Games, that video is coming out tomorrow on my channel, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on to not miss that video. Now, there's one name in particular that Tom mentions here that I want to pay special attention to, and that is Byron Bede. Anyone that knows who Byron Bede is knows that Byron Bede worked on Warzone, and if he's the general manager working on Battlefield, then guess what, guys? There's going to be a Battle Royale in the next Battlefield game. And I know some people really aren't going to like that, but here's the thing. Having a Battle Royale in the next Battlefield game, if they execute it correctly and attach it to a good Battlefield, especially if they make the Battle Royale free to play, that is only a positive, and I genuinely think the people that sort of harp on Battle Royale in the Battlefield community need to get a grip and honestly grow up. And I know that sounds harsh, but you don't have to play the Battle Royale. There's still going to be a Battlefield multiplayer experience just like there always is, so the Battle Royale could only be a net positive for the franchise if it's actually successful. And I know a lot of people are very hesitant because of Firestorm with Battlefield 5 and Hazard Zone with 2042, but if we're being completely honest, neither Firestorm or Hazard Zone had any chance of surviving at all. Firestorm being attached to the failure of Battlefield 5, and Hazard Zone being all around one of the worst game modes I've ever seen in my entire life. You're basing your sort of argument on two duds that had no chance to begin with. So let's hope that this time around, EA and DICE can give themselves more of a better launch pad. Tom Henderson continues this article by stating some quotes from Andrew Wilson, and these quotes are basically just Andrew Wilson insinuating that the next Battlefield game will not be released until 2025, and that the next Battlefield game will be, quote, part of a Battlefield universe. But apparently Tom Henderson has acquired information that heavily insinuates that the next Battlefield has a tentative target release date of October 2025. This would, of course, put it right in line with some of the previous Battlefield releases, and honestly, I think that's what we all expected. They're not going to release a Battlefield game in, like, the middle of the year in June. But it's the next paragraph that has me very, very intrigued, because Tom Henderson states that apparently Insider Gaming, which is who he writes for, has information that suggests that the next Battlefield is taking an approach that is, quote, back to the Battlefield roots, with the likes of 64-player matches, the return of a 4-class system, and a complete overhaul to Battlefield's destruction system. This article even states that as far as the game's setting is concerned, it will be modern day and set somewhere around 2025 to 2030 with a strong story-driven emphasis on modern technology. So, to be perfectly honest with you, all of that information that I just stated doesn't surprise me at all. I have said multiple times that I think they will absolutely take a very safe approach to the multiplayer aspect of Battlefield in terms of setting, in terms of just going back to what worked, not reinventing the wheel, and I guess all we can hope is they follow through with that, but all of this information, like them revamping Destruction and going back to 64 players and the returning to the 4-class system, that all makes complete sense to me. Now, in the next paragraph, Tom goes into detail about Ripple Effect working on the new experience, which is, of course, supposed to be this free-to-play Battle Royale. Apparently, this free-to-play Battle Royale is to, quote, follow a similar strategy to the highly successful Call of Duty Warzone that will see the free-to-play experience tie in with its premium release. This makes complete sense because of who I mentioned in the beginning of this video, Byron Bede, who worked on Warzone and is the general manager of the Battlefield franchise. Tom Henderson states that currently the Battle Royale game mode actually has 2 different game modes, including a classic Battle Royale experience, so you drop in and whoever is the last person alive wins the game. And there's also this new mode called Gauntlet, which will see teams of players compete in objective-based modes, with the lowest scoring team being kicked out after each mission. This sounds similar to the finals, actually, to me. So what do I think about this? I think, again, this is exactly what I expected from the next Battlefield game. A lot of people didn't think that EA was going to try to do another Battle Royale, but I think that's very short-sighted. EA does not care, bro. They don't care. EA will ego until their entire company burns down, and they're egoing right now. They're going to ego make, if that's even a term I can use, a next Battle Royale in the next Battlefield game because they see the potential of Battle Royale. They see the money, they see the new players, and that's exactly what Battlefield needs, to be completely honest with you. And the fact that it's free to play is honestly excellent. The only concern I have about free to play is cheaters. Cheaters are always a massive concern in free-to-play games, but Battlefield in particular has an awful track record of dealing with cheaters, and the only Battlefield games that have truly had a decent experience with cheaters are the Battlefield games with RSP that allows players to ban cheaters from servers themselves. So, cheaters are definitely a massive cause for concern for this free-to-play Battle Royale. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, take all of this with a grain of salt. But if all of this is true, I think this is actually great news for the next Battlefield game. I think, surprisingly, they're going the correct route. It's just a question of, can they actually execute? And that's always been the question. And I understand why people are very, very apprehensive about trusting EA and DICE. And I don't trust them as far as I can throw them either, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. But the fact of the matter is, Battlefield needs to adapt. Call of Duty adapted with Warzone, and guess what? Warzone managed to keep Call of Duty relevant for a very long time because Call of Duty adapted. Battlefield has gone out of relevancy because they keep producing garbage and they don't adapt the franchise. And I am well aware that the Battlefield community will never accept a Battle Royale in their game. But guess what? The Battle Royale is not for you. The Battle Royale is for new players. The Battle Royale is to adapt the franchise. The Battle Royale is to make sure the game is less niche and appeals to more people. There is still going to be a classic multiplayer Battlefield experience that will most likely satisfy the needs and wants of Battlefield players. There will be Conquest, there will most likely be Breakthrough and TDM and Rush and all this stuff. And, you know, I just find it hilarious that Battlefield players in my comment section, you know, shill game modes like Hardcore and Rush XL, but scoff at Battle Royale. Honestly, get a fucking grip. And don't get me wrong, I might not even play the Battle Royale that much, but I am aware that Battle Royale has insane potential to bring a lot of interest to the Battlefield community, and that is what we should all want. If the Battle Royale succeeds, if the next Battlefield game is good, you should all want this to happen, because it is a net positive for the Battlefield franchise as a whole, and we haven't had a net positive like that in a very long time. So take this news with a grain of salt, obviously, but I genuinely hope that most of what Tom Henderson is saying here is true. I really hope it is, because if they can execute on these ideas, I think the next Battlefield game actually has good potential, and we might be in for a surprise. Although, take that with a grain of salt, because we all know DICE and EA are absolute masterminds at basically producing some of the biggest disappointments of all time. So, I'm not going to get excited. I'm just going to sit here and watch, right? I just want to watch what happens. If it ends up being good, great. But if it ends up being same old DICE where they bite off too much, then, you know, I'm not even going to act like I'm surprised. It's just typical, right? We've all experienced this before. And with that, I'm going to conclude this video. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, particularly for this video. I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders. Make sure to turn YouTube notifications on. I'm going to be covering some other games, and of course the new Battlefield. I'm your pretty much #1 place for Battlefield news, and I'm never going to give you a dishonest take. I'm always going to be authentic for you guys, because I think that's the only way to be. Thank you guys for watching. Join the Discord. That link is also in the description, and I'll see you guys later.
That's cap, dude. Cat, is this real?